What's up, everybody? Tuesday, October 21st. Did a little gardening today. Planted some tomato plants again, as you maybe some of you remember. I had them going earlier this year and got a little bit of harvest out of them, got a little bit of fruit out of the plants, but then they got fried in the Florida heat in the summertime. The plants all basically died. I ripped them out. So I'm going to try again as the weather cools off now. So I just cleaned up the garden a little bit, put in some new topsoil, and we'll see how it goes, man. I got a lot of basil going wild. I got so much basil, I don't know what to do with it, man. I'm making pesto and everywhere I can use it on my pizza. I got a lot of rosemary. Rosemary's good, man, because you can put that on anything. I use that on my steaks with some garlic and butter, and on chicken, on fish. Rosemary's good. So yeah, man. Market was up today. Not the NASDAQ. Dow was up. S&P made a new high. Netflix earnings came out. Stock is down, I think, around 7% in the after hours. And gold down about, 6.5%. I think silver about the same thing. So right now, my top call in gold that I mentioned, I might have even said it on Friday, but I said it yesterday, so that's looking pretty good. But I think we could probably get a bounce off of today's sell-off. The fiscal flows, they're still looking good. We're up 19 billion on the leading flows year over year. Net flows are down. Yesterday was a 1.6 billion tariff drain. That contributed to what was an overall drain yesterday of about that 1.6, 1.5 billion. We're going to have that big monthly tariff drain that's happening anytime from tomorrow until Friday. And last month it was 22 billion, so I figure we're going to be at least 22 billion on that drain. I'm focused on the leading flows. I gave you that whole explanation yesterday with the net flows about the swimming pool water level. The water in your pool could come down it's right at the brim, right at the top. I mean, that water can come down. It's not going to pose an immediate threat. You could still go swimming, you could still dive in, you could still jump in. It's come down a bit. It's still at the level of the skimmers in your swimming pool. It hasn't dropped below that. If it dropped below that, that would be a problem. So that's my analogy for how I look at the net transfers right now. Net transfers are important. They represent the stock of financial savings in dollar terms that the non-government holds, okay? Just like the stock, the volume of water in your swimming pool. So that is important, but the most immediate thing would be the leading flows, okay? Because that's the thing, that's like current in a wire, okay? That's like electrons flowing through a wire. That's like force. That's energy. And as long as those leading flows are at least equal to last year, which they are, they're slightly higher, I don't see that as a problem. I mean, last year we did 7.73 trillion. We're just shy of an all-time record high in leading flows. Leading flows record was in 2021 at 7.74 trillion. So like I've been saying all along, even with the government shutdown, and I've been giving you guys these numbers every single day. All right, nobody else does this. I've been giving you guys these numbers every single day. Like a lot of people will speculate, oh, the government shutdown is bad. I have concrete data. And it's not just because I have some secret data. This is all, if you know how to look at the daily treasury statement, it's all in there. So this is my guidance system, as I've used that terminology before. You're flying the airplane. You're looking at your instruments. You're out, you're a mariner on the open seas. You know, you use your GPS, your compass, your sextant, whatever, but you have a means of determining where you are and where you want to go, and you rely on those instruments. I don't sit around here speculating. If there's something I don't know, I tell you guys I'm going to need a little bit more data. It's unclear to me right now. But I've been telling you, and I told you last week when a lot of people were worried about a banking crisis and the, liquidity issues, which I don't know where that even came up from, but that was people talking about that. Some of you even you posted in the comments you were trying to school me on this. All right, I'm the original guy with the fiscal flows. All right, nobody does what I do. And the other thing is like that you have to incorporate is the fact that I come from a trading background. I've been doing this for a long time. 46 years. A member of 4 exchanges, a floor trader on 4 different exchanges, a money manager, a hedge fund trader, bank trader. So it's not just the MMT and the daily treasury statement data, which I've incorporated all that into my process. But like I talk to you guys a lot about mental game. You know that I go off script a lot. I talk about boxing. I talk about resiliency. I talk about doing things that are hard to build up that, that mental strength, that mental toughness, that ability, because we're put into this crucible of fire every day when you work in these markets, because they could drive you crazy sometimes. It's not the markets themselves, it's the people. The people make the markets. And then you see behavior and then you scratch your head sometimes because it's like, why is that happening? It doesn't align with reality because that's human behavior. So I get into that a lot. You know that I do. I talk about that. I actually, if you want to know, and I've said this many times in the past, I think that's the number one thing. I think you could have the best information in the world. You could be the best analyst in the world. You could even have inside information. But if your head is screwed up, if you don't have your mental right, you're not going to make any money in the long term. Believe me, I know. I'm a living example of that, which I've explained to you guys. And I've recounted personal stories to you guys many times. As when I came up as a trader in my early days, I was a gifted analyst. I almost had I don't want to call it like a sixth sense, but like a sensitivity. Like I could feel like when something was going to happen. Like I had a radar, some kind of built-in radar. But did I capitalize big time on that? No, not really. I was up, I was down, I was up, I was down. I mean, the big numbers that I made in my trading days really came when I had some kind of inside information with people who I knew on the floor and stuff like that. And I admit it. And why not? Because I knew so many guys, street guys down on the floor who made their money that way. As a matter of fact, I'll tell you this right now, the biggest traders that I ever knew, the ones who made the most money consistently, all had that edge in one way or another. So don't beat yourself up. That's why I always say, stay away from that game, that short-term trading game, that the market's going to pay me a wage. You go to Warren Buffett approach. You buy value. You accumulate good assets over time. If you're young, man, you got it made. Let me tell you. If you're young in this game and you have patience and you have the discipline and a good process like the things I teach, you got it made. I mean, the amount of wealth that you can accumulate in the course of your life in this fabulous thing called the stock market. You don't got to buy Bitcoin. You don't got to put all your money in gold. I mean, the stock market, you're owning pieces of companies. You're participating in that income stream. It's an amazing thing. Anyway, so it's still a bullish environment. I'll tell you guys when I think things have changed. But for me, the leading flows, that's the number one thing, followed closely by net transfers, which I told you already, that's a little bit of a concern. But I need more data. And I'm honest with you guys. I tell you, like, when I'm not sure, I can't sit here every single day and say, hey, I absolutely know this or that or this is going to happen. Sometimes I have to tell you, look, it's not clear to me right now. I need a little bit more data. But I'll tell you right now, with the leading flows, at least on par with last year, where we did 7.7 trillion, where the government did 7.73 trillion, I don't have any problem with that. Even if it's just 10 billion over or 20 billion over, that's fine. If it starts to dip down below that, and net government transfers continue to fall year over year, that's a problem. That's going to be a problem. And that could happen, but it's not happening yet. All right? So anyway, beautiful day, end of the day, a new hurricane. We're late in the hurricane season, folks, and I'm very, I feel very lucky that we didn't get hit with anything here in Florida. This one just formed, so I got to see what the forecasts are and where this thing is headed, because it would suck to have one now. But we did have one earlier in October last year, which I had to evacuate because I'm in a zone A, which is a flood zone, but luckily nothing really happened. But I was away from my house for a couple of days. We lost power and stuff like that. So anyway, that's it. Thank you so much for watching my videos. I appreciate it. And please like and subscribe. And don't forget to go to my website, pitbulleconomics.com. Sign up for a 30-day free trial to MMT Trader. I update these numbers every day. I'm sending out emails all day long just to give you perspective, insight, commentary, stuff like that. It's very useful. And, also to keep you emotionally and mentally focused. I send those kind of emails too. All right? Those are maybe the most important ones. All right, that's it. Have a good one. See you tomorrow. Bye.